Good morning. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage, on your side, your wisdom guided oracle, and we're having coffee. And I'm using my beautiful moon mug, even though what's coming tomorrow is not a lunar eclipse, it's a solar eclipse. This is the only mug I have that's got cosmic type things in it from the space aspect. So, how is it going in your world? And I mean specifically in your world. There's so much tumultuous craziness going on. But the truth is, what you can be the most effective in doing is going within and working through these shifts that are happening inside of you, because I'm probably pretty darn right in the fact that many of you out there have been in an internal upheaval, a shifting, a moving forward, and some scary possibilities for your personal world are looking at you right now. And it usually has to do in that energy of moving forward, making a change, being proactive about what is active inside you. And that, us doing our own work really can be some of the scariest because we're the ones that are affected by it. And the truth is that the world is then affected by it, but it starts with us. Everything in life starts with us. Everything in the world started with a thought. Thoughts are very powerful. I'm going to be doing a program at a group I belong to next month, and it's the power of your word. And your words are so incredibly powerful. And you absolutely want to be mindful of that because they are the creators of your life, along with couple other aspects that honestly, most people walk through the world so unaware of the energies working within them and creating this situation, this life, this belief that they've got. And so it's time to really own your power. And the first card that came up, I haven't used these cards in a while, Stephen Farmer's Messages from Animal Spirit Guides, was the Falcon. And it says, act on the opportunity that's before you and commit to it without equivocation. And that's what can be scary, because a lot of us are looking at pretty big shifts in our life. And this solar eclipse is fueling that. And it can fuel it in two ways, depending on where you're at in your headspace about it. It can fuel the fear and the unknown and the angst, or it can fuel the forward movement, the empowerment, the ease with which you choose to do it. So, what is shifting? I'm chuckling because some things have been happening in my practice over the last year, but it seems to be happening more and more. Almost every person walking through my doors, we will start to examine the energy, and then I get the hit, or because of the energy that is coming up and how it's being answered, I will stop and we will ask, is there the energy of a curse present? Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I would be dealing with curses in any way, shape, or form. Just not where I've dabbled, no black magic for me, no anything other than angels and guides, God, creator, all the Pollyanna, all the high vibe stuff. And when they started to come, as I said to God almost 42 years ago now, you know what? I just want to be used by you in life. I'm going to walk and I'm going to trust you're going to open the doors you want me to go through, and you're going to shut the ones you don't. That's how you and I are going to work, God. It's not for me to tell anyone else how to work with you. And I never went back to church, and nothing bad happened in church. That was just the end of that foundational part of my journey. And so as the people started coming to me and we finally just dig down to, is this a curse? And the answer came up, yes. I mean, I just took a breath and was like, okay, what am I supposed to do with this? Literally, a curse is just an energy present. But for many of the light workers, which is why more and more are coming to me that have that present, for many of the light workers, they have been cursed through the ages, or they have brought in an ancestral curse. Of course, many of their ancestors were healers and light workers and way showers and psychics and witches. You know, we've gone by many names. It is the works that someone does that defines who they are. But we have had curses enacted on us, or we have brought them in through our ancestral lineage, and it's time well, we brought them in, or they were enacted to stop us, to limit us, to contain us, to keep us in boxes that don't allow us to fully expand into our truth. And so when the first one came, I just kind of went, what am I supposed to do with this? And then I went, you know what? I am just going to act on what you send to me to do here. And the first thing, of course, I did was invite in all these higher powers to be there with me. And throughout, some of these curses, it gets very loud, gets very noisy. And a couple of times when I first started, I went in and went, "Am I afraid? Am I afraid?" It's like, "No, I'm not afraid. I've got Michael here. I've got Jesus. I've got Gabriel and Raphael, and my angel that I channel regularly, Uriel." And I had all this angelic presence. And so there was nothing that was going to get to me from this. And then, I do the very much the shamanic, the earthly aspect. I burn the sage and the Palo Santos, use crystals, I use oils. I use what I'm led to use, and I trust that it's going to be okay. And it is. And people walk out with so much less baggage and so much less limiting energy. So but to bring out to the public that, well, I do curse removal truly sounds ridiculous to me at this moment. But the truth is, that's what's coming because that's what I am to do for right now. And so I just own it. And I love the process because I love what happens when these people step off the table and start into the rest of their lives. The lightness that comes, the things that show up, the things they're better able to see. So, acting on the opportunity that's been before me and committing without equivocation, basically that's what I'm doing here. I'm coming out. Um, I'm letting the world know that this is a gift I have been given to be able to help other people with. So there's my commit to action. And what is yours? What is that thing that makes you go, what is the truth here? So let's see what the Archangel Power Tarot cards have to bring. It is the Queen of Gabriel. You can do anything right now. And this solar eclipse energy is shaking us up. It is shaking the world up. The events that are happening throughout the world. It's a shakeup time, and it's going to continue to be a shakeup time. It just happens to be more fueled right now by this solar energy, and it is the solar energy, but we can take it in as the solar energy, the energy of our soul to expand, to move forward, to move into the truth, closer to the truth of who we are in this walk. In that light, I am doing another live workshop on October 26th, I think it is. I'll put it out here. Some live teaching about you and your power. That's what solar power is about, that power we have within to work with God, Jesus, creator. And for those of you who, are living in a religious bend and feeling guilty because you would watch something like this, the truth is energy works with the very foundation of who God created us to be. We're energetic beings, and working from that point doesn't usurp God, stand in the way of God. It enhances the relationship you have with God, the creator of the universe, whatever you call them. Also, in the very foundation truth of something I know is they don't care what you call them, because you're not calling on them for their benefit. They don't need us to drop to our knees and worship them. That is a man's construct. We call on them to give them permission to give us some extra guidance in this life walk we're doing. So, don't know why that needed to be said. Maybe there's somebody out there feeling guilty that they're watching something like this because it doesn't align with their religious teaching. And religious is a word I never would have called myself in the 20 years I journeyed in religion, and went to many churches before 9, went to 2 after age 9, went to Oral Roberts University, led the Bible studies at school. I mean, and I was proselytizing, speaking my belief in every aspect of who I was. And then the day I had the vision, I went, this part of my journey is done. It is too restrictive, too judgmental of others, too not what Jesus would do. And so that's when I left church. So own who you are inside, own that understanding that there is more to you than what you're living. And now is the time to really sudden and immediate results, a great deal of activity, which we're seeing now, but this is about you. Sudden and immediate results, important communications coming to you. And this can be within your mind where you just kind of keep getting hammered with this same thought. And when the people needing the removal of the curse energy started coming, it was like the first thing was kind of fear, and the second was, I could do this. No, I can't do this, but I can bring through that which can do this. I have that ability. Many of you have that same type of ability. Our gifts and abilities are as individual as we are. And so the thing that you've been intrigued by, that has been calling to you, for me, for a while, it was readings. I wanted to be able to do readings, but I really had no idea what that looked like. I even created 2 oracle card decks before I ever did a reading. And I just acted in courage one day. And this spiritual path you're on, this way of living takes courage. So act on your courage. Join in this tumultuous activity with your yes, I'm ready to fully expand. By the way, I am taking another group to a retreat in Guatemala at the end of January. This is a life-changing opportunity if you want to indulge. I cannot tell you what happened to all of us on that retreat, and where we did it was as important as who came. And knowing that you are ready to expand is the first step. So keep a watch out, because I'm going to be putting out more information. Material needs get fulfilled in unexpected ways. Acts of kindness, giving or receiving with a grateful heart. Give to the world what you have to give, and know that the things that you need will be met, especially if you don't focus on what you don't have. Focus on the feeling of what it's like that when you do have. Focus on believing that it is there for you, because it is waiting to come in. Your desires desire you. The minute you ask for it, it is there. But we have built up over time, for many reasons, blocks that are keeping these things from us. What is a need you have had that you keep going back to the emptiness of, without that thing being fulfilled? That keeps that emptiness in your field. When you go to this place of need, just go cancel. I am so grateful I have this whatever need, this feeling of confidence and courage that I need to move forward. I'm so grateful that every day I love myself and accept myself for exactly who I am. I'm so grateful that I release on a daily basis this need to be perfect in order to move forward. Whatever that is, you speak it in the present tense, because your mind and your subconscious And the universe do not hear, don't not, or in the past or in the future. It is present. That's why it's important to be in the present. We can invent lots of bad stuff that happened and project lots of not great stuff that's going to happen, especially with the world events. It can be a very scary place. And I absolutely go to this, oh my gosh, what are we leaving for our babies? And then I go, cancel, cancel. I know I am one of the people that is helping save this world. I am one of the people that are making changes that are going to create this world that we know is possible, of acceptance of one another, embracing the differences of who we are instead of feeling like we need to conform people into our boxes. So, the next card that came up, it will, we're kind of back to the commit. It'll all be better if you just make a decision. It is in that indecisive place that more tumult happens. It's like you've got things you're weighing, and it's like, I don't know, this or this or this or this or this or this. And it just keeps this very tumultuous energy running in you. Make a decision. You're the one, what inviting the creator and all them in to help us with is in order to make this journey and the things we wanted to learn when we came easier. We will get our learning. We will explore and discover the things we wanted to learn. It is how we do it that we have the free will over. How hard do we need to make it? For many years, I embraced hard. Nothing had value for me if it was not hard. And so I made things hard. And it was, including the physical. You know, if no pain, no gain. And I have a very high threshold of pain. And so I would just work out to the point of not being able to move any part of my body without pain, which then threw my alignment off as I adjusted to trying to move without pain. And these joints were very fluid. And so they moved easily into disalignment and pretty much locked in there. And so it was that need to just power through, and my belief that I'm stronger than everybody else so I could take on all their things and carry this load. One night after cutting cords to the pain, I got up with 72% less energy. I mean, less pain in my body. All of that was not even mine, but because I believed myself to be stronger, and the one who needed to be that strength in the world, that I committed my body to a lot of pain. Now, I've been in the unwind of that for 9 years. So these things do not happen right away. And the natural way of healing ourselves is rarely a quick fix, right? That we're done. Occasionally, we'll release an energy that you go, oh my gosh, I had no idea it was fueling that thing that had been plaguing me. But more often than not, it is a journey, and it is a learning aspect. How did I bring this? Why did I bring this? What do I get to learn from here? This is standing in your power, your solar power, in order to move through this life with greater ease and a lot more fun, more adventure, all of that. So, for instance, I know many people, when I said I'm taking another group to Guatemala at the end of January, went, yeah, I can't afford that. Some of you went, I can't even imagine traveling to there because the world is such a scary place. I went twice in the spring, never been before. The only other place I'd ever been was Mexico 22 years ago. And that was it for journeys out of this country into countries where I speak very little or none of the language. I mean, Mayans, I don't speak Mayan. And it was such an incredible journey. And again, the first one was to explore where we were going, to know kind of what that was like. And the second was to bring that group of amazing women there and help each of them heal something that was been standing in their way. So, and to expand them. I mean, the expansion that happened was just outrageous. So stop that kind of a thought and turn it into, how can I make this happen? I'm drawn to do that. How can I make this happen? The next card that came up, weirdly so, is the moon. Opportunity to improve your plans. Listen to your intuition for accurate guidance. This is the learning to trust yourself. What you desire desires you. If there's something that's standing in your way and you know what that is, look at it and go, how can I let that go? I am open, I'm willing, I'm ready, guide me. What is one thing I can do to let that go today? It will come immediately when you ask. And generally it's in your imagination. And so we usually go, I just made that up. I've never had a burning bush speak to me. My guidance has never come in miraculous type ways. A couple of interesting wows. So consider it is an opportunity now. And this solar eclipse can absolutely fuel that. You want to focus and be very intentional and write down right now what it is you are intending for this one thing moving forward. And if it can be vague, it is better if it is detailed. But let's say you want to unfold into your gifts, but you really don't know what your gifts are. But you know there is more to you than what you are living in this life, or you have this desire to unfold into something that you know specifically, but that just seems like impossible. So get down and write for maybe a minute. For 5 minutes, some people really don't have the time or they can't even. And again, nobody's reading this but you. It doesn't matter how you spell, how dirty, messy it is, how poor handwriting you have, but write it out in as much detail as you can create. I want to create this thing and it's going to look like this with these minute attributes to it. And it's going to feel like this, because getting that pen to paper helps bring to life. It really pulls from you what you really, really want. And that starts to fuel this desire, this tumultuous. Now, know that the tumultuous is going to bring up the stuff that's in front of you that's standing in your way of that desire. And it's usually old stuff. It does not feel good. And you go right into gratitude. Thank you so much for bringing this I'm a piece of shit energy up again, because it is still in my field. I choose now to let it go, and I choose to offer it to the light in order for it not to have any more power over me. So the next card, a positive new emotional experience. And the truth is, sometimes we have to manufacture those. We have to allow the truth of who we are to come in through our choice. So I've shared with you a couple of times here, just kind of this thing I went through a couple weeks ago. But the first energy that came up was this energy I was projecting of the expectation of failure. I didn't know that it was still so powerfully within me. And so I had to look at that and go, okay, so this is what, and then the energy that came up behind that was loser. And I really looked at them and dissected them and went, okay, do I really believe I'm a failure? No, I don't believe I'm a failure. Am I a loser? It's like, well, hell no. Look what I have in my life. Look what I and my husband have created from where we came from to what we have now in our life. I am so blessed, but we are so programmed and more willing to look at everything we're not or what we don't have than we are to look at all that we do have. And a gratitude practice is one way to move you up that vibrational scale, where you can take a breath and look at everything that is positive in your life, everything you have done, and know that as you do that, your emotions of higher vibration come in, and you want to look at those lower vibrational emotions like I'm a loser and go, cancel, cancel. I am a winner. I have created a winning life. I have a stable, lovely, loving family, a beautiful home. a husband who supports me, cars that run well. And I am very blessed in that I have a convertible I absolutely love. She is almost 17 years old, and I don't love her any less than the day I got her. And she runs like a top, and she gives me that freedom of the air blowing through my hair. It's these little things that you want to elaborate on in your mind and in your consciousness. It raises your energy. I have water that comes out of my faucet. That is such a gift that we need to cultivate, that remembrance of those tiny things that we take for granted. Good morning, Wendy. One comment. I don't know why this StreamYard doesn't allow more commenting to come through to me. It irritates me, but this is a time-saving mechanism, and I'm going to continue to use it. Number one, because I subscribed for a year and they will not refund the remaining year. I am not a fan of StreamYard, and I'm not going to say, "Ooh, yeah, recommend this." Not yet, anyway. We'll see what transpires, but I don't appreciate that business model. Um, and I entered into it, well, not with my eyes open, because I can be impulsive. I should have done a month to month. But then again, I wouldn't be putting out to 3 platforms right now. So I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to use it the best I can. But they put this thing at the end of every video that says, "Ooh, you love StreamYard, don't you? Well, recommend it to friends." I am taking that off of every video because I am not happy with the customer service. Um, I do have to say, though, they have reached out on email trying to help me, but I have already enacted everything that they're trying to help me with, and it is not working. So if you're making a comment and I'm not responding, the reason is I literally I get one for every video I do. And thank you, Mindy, for making that comment. Okay, new positive emotional experience. That's what I'm going to project into StreamYard so that I fall in love with it, because I've got it, and it becomes it. I want it to become everything I wanted it to be. And I'm going to project that instead of all this negative energy, but I am not going to recommend them until it becomes that. So I will be removing their statement that they put at the bottom of every video. I could see them doing that on a free version, but not on a paid version. That is an irritation to me. So the next to the last card that came up was a very happy ending. Archangel Michael, the world. I love Michael so much. I am a warrior, and I know many of you are warriors out there as well. Many of you mothers are warriors for your children. One of the things when I was talking about the summit that I did, which is pretty much an epic failure, and I'm owning that. I was projecting failure on it, and it indeed didn't reap a lot. Didn't seem to have the effect, and some of the people I chose to bring on it didn't put it out, didn't share it. And so it's like, okay, well, there was a lot for me to learn from it, and people I did get to meet that I will love to stay in contact with, who are powerful healers throughout the world. And so, and I truthfully, it was such a traumatically emotional experience in the failing that there is a lot more for me to learn from that. And so I'm going to embrace that. Or I can whine and cry and indulge in that and keep myself blocked from moving forward with another live workshop. I have a mission. And I was talking to a young lady yesterday who knows she has one too. And, I said, there are times when I wish I didn't, where I could just sit down and garden here and crochet and not get out into the world, not stretch myself, not put myself into scary places, of newness, of never trying this before. Yeah, because sometimes it gets really hard to stay in the expansion. But know that that's just part of it. But happy endings come because you unfold into your power, and because the warriors that we are do get to see some of the results that we have in this world. Yes, yes. Mindy said, so grateful for her 21-year-old van that allows her to haul up to 7 people and big items. I can use as a camper, and it has been so reliable. So grateful for the roof over my head and clothes on my back, food in my belly, etc. And much love to you all, in case you aren't seeing that. So yes, I utilize Archangel Michael because you can. I cut cords with him and I use him in my service when I'm working on people, particularly when I'm removing curses. But I call them in all the time because I need their guidance. I don't do the healing. I don't do the curse removal. I request it, I command it, and I open up my channels for that energy to come through and sweep it away, and then we replace that energy. That is how I do all of my energy healing and my energy work. And so Archangel Michael is my right hand person. I channel Uriel all the time. That is this wisdom that comes through. I know. Oh, Jonathan, Grand Rising. I haven't seen you in so long. Thank you for commenting. It's lovely to see you. Jonathan is an amazing healer in the Midwest. And yeah, we're very connected at heart level. I've not got to yet meet Jonathan, but I think at some point we will. My desire is to travel this world, but to travel the country and meet all these amazing healing people that I get to interact with here. So a very happy ending, coming full circle, spiritual growth and insight. All of this discomfort we can enter into and dis-ease in our bodies and our lives because we are working our power and working to stand in more of our power and our path and our gifts can be just really uncomfortable. But there is such a payoff. And let me tell you now, you all deserve to be compensated for the gifts you bring into the world. Because they are gifts, people will tell you, you're charging too much. You don't deserve to be paid that much for this. Well, let me tell you something. People thought I well deserved my paychecks as a nurse because I went to college for a nurse. Well, I went to college for 4 years. I've been a way shower, a light worker, a bringer of wisdom for 66 years. And I deserve to be paid well for that time. That being said, my prices are not inexpensive, but I also willingly adjust my price when I know that I need to work with someone. If they are using me and I can feel that because they could actually afford to spend that money, my prices stay the same. I just saw a TikTok, or yeah, it was a TikTok from a family member begging for money for her mother's hearing aid. Her mother 2 years ago inherited a bunch of money. And this woman is so deceptive and so much a victim in her own life and in her own mind that she put out to her daughter that she couldn't afford a hearing aid. Holy cow. I have not responded to that. I got to tell you, as the human in me, I wanted to go, are you fucking kidding me? How dare you do something like that when there's so much need in the world? But that's a judgment. I am human, and I chose not to reach out with that. Pretty sure they don't follow me on Facebook. Don't really care if they do. Maybe they need the message. But, be authentically you and own the value that you have in someone's life with your gift and with what you do. Charge what you are worth. And it's going to be a big shift in you to really charge what you are worth, but charge a little more because you deserve it. And that's another energy you want to release, is the undeserving. The last word that's coming up for today is cleansing waters, purification activities for vibrant life forces. Water is an amazing tool. And of course, it is like my favorite. I remember when I discovered that Gemini was an air sign, it's like, really? I would have thought it was a water sign because water is my element. I absolutely love that. And I will be getting into waters at the end of next week. We're going camping for the last time with the family up to a place where there's hot springs and the river right next to it. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to be in and out of both of them, but I know that river is that 1 or 2 degrees cooler than it is possible to stay in for any length of time. I'll share with you, I call that crotch hurting cold. When you're in it for a few seconds and the crotch begins to hurt, it's like, nope, can't stay in it. It's too cold. But with that hot springs right next to it, I will be in and out of it. I will be doing that cleansing work within that water. Purification activities. What is that like for you? Maybe you want to sit in front of a campfire or the fire in your fire pit. Fire is an amazing transformative energy. Wind, maybe you want to go for a ride in a convertible and let the wind work through you. And then the earth, of course, getting your feet out in the grass, on the ground. That is something you really want to do during this time of tumult, because Mother Earth can ground you. Play on words there. Mother Earth can ground you into her calm. In the center of the earth is the perfect balance Kundalini energy. And I will often go there in my intention. That's where I work. That's where, yeah, Mindy, yay for camping. That's where I go to really feel calmer. That's what Mother Earth does for me. And it does for all of us. We are not, none of us are immune to it, but we are attracted to different elements for a reason. And by the way, if you haven't, and you don't have a child, you can watch it without them, seen the movie Elements or Elemental, that's what it is. It's a lovely children's movie about accepting one another as to who we are and knowing that love absolutely will transform the differences into likenesses. So very long video for me. I'm a pretty much a quick soundbite person, so I try to keep them under 30 minutes and ideally under 25. But this is a very important message, and I urge you to share this with those people you love. When you come across this, share it out. Because people need to hear this message. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage, on your side, your wisdom guided oracle. Until we meet again.